All right, so I got to say it again. Welcome to the Pink Sofa Talk, where love is the message. And I thank you all for coming out this fine Tuesday evening in the month of September. This is the fourth week of September. Wow, time is going fast, and it is downright chilly here in the Northeast. Oh my goodness, we went from summer to winter, and yeah, it's cold. It's cold. I have my jacket on today, my little puffer jacket, because it's cold and damp. So anyway, we're going to make fun and enjoy ourselves and have a warm evening together here on the pink sofa, because that's what we're about. So for several of you, we have been um, doing an intermittent fast, and our fasting time was from 8 p.m. to till 12 noon. So we had 16 hours of fasting, and then we had an 8-hour period where we were eating from noon until 8 p.m. So would love to hear how that went for those who partook in the fast. Partook a word. Um, for me, I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty good. There were a couple of times where I had like a close call, um, just because of my schedule and running around and doing things. Um, I had gotten a case. I had to go out on yesterday morning when I was at work. Um, Many of you know I work in Children's Protective Services, so I had to go out um, and so I had to I needed to eat before I went out, so I did uh, start to eat. Like I was pushing it because I knew I needed to go out by 12:30, and I needed to get where I had to go for 12:30. And so yeah, yesterday I think I started eating about 5 minutes early. But I was trying to stay true to the real time and everything. But I know sometimes in life it just doesn't work that way. But so that was one moment, and there was another moment where with the weather being what it was over this past weekend, where I had gotten something to eat and I came home, but I had to walk my grand dog. He wouldn't let me sit down, and so I ended up eating like a few minutes after 8. But other than that, I pushed through and I stayed true to the time frames, and I think it was like really good. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't like thinking about eating most of the time. Um, 12 o'clock would come and go, and then I would say, oh, I can eat now, so that was good. So I'd love to hear from some others how it went for you, and and I do apologize because I started out sending out a scripture every day that was related to fasting, and and I let some madness in my life um, caused me to fall off of doing that. So I apologize that I didn't do that every day, which was my intention. But I'd like to hear how everybody did. Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Miss Carol.
Good evening.
How are you?
Just fine.
Awesome. So, Miss Carol, so we Saturday started an
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied.
Mhm.
So I started a fasting on Saturday. So I didn't eat until really later on Saturday. So I only had one meal.
Mhm.
But to be quite honest with you, even on Sunday was the same. But I did not really follow. I didn't really
Mhm.
follow up as to where really focus in the fast, to be honest. But I did at
Okay.
least eat one meal per day.
Mhm.
But I also did have junk food, but I did not like start. I ate later on in the day, but it wasn't really too much healthy eating, Miss Carol. So I
Mhm.
can be completely honest.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I
No,
did
and
have
it's
meat. I did have
good.
some meat, and yes. So,
Mhm. But
but I didn't
it.
do.
Go ahead,
I'm
finish.
sorry. Oh, I did have meat. I did have vegetables. Don't get me wrong. I did have vegetables, but I did eat meat throughout
But
the
yeah,
days
but
that.
with the intermittent fasting, there was no restrictions on
Oh,
the
I
food.
see.
Yeah, we didn't have restrictions on food. The only thing that I said was be mindful to eat healthy. And because like when you're doing that and then your 8 hour period comes, what you don't want to do is just start grabbing stuff and shoving it in your mouth.
Got
Anything,
it.
everything, just
Got it.
eat it.
Yeah.
I at church it was family and friends day, and indeed I did have a slice of cake. So I can't say that I didn't have sweets or you know my snacky popcorn, but I I stuck to that time frame and I ate either once or twice. It's funny when you do that because
Mhm.
I wasn't really hungry. And like one day, I know I ate my second meal. Like I had the lunches, the lunch, which was really breakfast because lunch broke my fast, and I had like a big salad, and then really and truly, I wasn't hungry to eat anything substantial, anything big later on. So so that day I just had something really light. I think I had some nuts and fruit, and I was satisfied. I was really satisfied. In the morning, I was having a cup of tea when I went to work, herbal tea. Um, a lot of my tea that I have is green tea based, and so I didn't drink because the green tea does have caffeine, so I didn't drink that. But I had some ginger tea that I drank in the morning, and so it was good. I was able to do that. But yeah, so let's see. Anyone else? Anyone else who did the fast? How'd you do? What did you find worked for you or didn't work for you?
Carol,
Mhm.
this is Lori. Hey, please don't everyone laugh, but I went all out for a bag of apples. I just started craving apples and oranges, and then someone from church took me to the store, and I got more apples and more oranges, and I just kept eating it, and then I made sure I did the fast, but one day I had to work a little longer hours, so I kind of did the fast up until 10 o'clock. I ate, up until 10 o'clock because I was eating fruit, and I still got 2 big pineapples left. So I did have a little bit of food distraction, which means looking at the food and like, ooh, yeah, you know what I mean? But mostly what I did, which is the blessing of one of the scriptures that you shared with us,
Mhm.
that really helped me out a lot. And I expounded on that. And what I did was, instead of looking at other people and judging them, what I did was I cleaned up myself. I mean, cleaned up my credit, cleaned up conversations, cleaned up context, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel a lot more directed. Thank you. Bless you, Carol. Bless you, girl.
Well, I thank you, and I say to God be the glory. And I thank you all for, agreeing to go on this journey, because it's a journey, and it's great when we can do it together, because you feel like you have a little extra staying power when you're doing it together,
And when you talked about the focus was on the children, and I was thinking, what good of a teacher am I? And that just took me to a whole nother level. How am I communicating to young people as a teacher? And that's what drove me into started cleaning up myself, cleaning up my credit, cleaning up my, all that kind of stuff, writing, everything, getting my things in order. Because when a child looks at you, he looks at the whole you, or she looks at the whole you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I said, okay, I better do that now. And it's just, I wouldn't even talk to people on the phone. I saw the phone ring, but I just would not answer it.
All right, so you took it to another level, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? If there are some on who I know were not with us when we began or made the decision to do this corporate intermittent fast, but we're going to talk about some other things this evening. So just hold on. Who's next? Who else did the fast that is going
I did
to
for 3 hours. So I cut it short, but I did find that it was I felt it was good, because in the time that I wasn't eating, I felt like I was focusing more on the Lord, like that, like a fasting time period. I was focusing on Him. So it was a blessing.
Okay. All right. And how did you do your hours, Janet?
I went like off at 9 in some cases, or before. It was before 9, and then the first thing I ate was a piece of fruit at like 10:30 or something, and then I ate a meal at like 12 or something.
All right, very good, very good. And that's important, like when we, as we made our decision to do intermittent fasting, one thing that's important, you got to go with your body, and you got to go with the energy level that you need. And especially if you're not used to doing this, you don't want to shock your body into, something that causes you to have discomfort or disease. And so you got to do it where it works for you. And so I'm glad that you did partake, and that it was successful for you. Excuse me. And your increased prayer time. And just if I can make a point with Lori was talking about, so we made a corporate decision that our focus during our prayer time, during the intermittent fasting, would be on the young people, on the next generation. We said we were going to pray for our sons and daughters, our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, and our godchildren. And so, and I think that, going forward, we need to pray for this. We need to keep praying for them. The next generation, they do not have it easy in this world as it is now. They don't have it easy, and we want them to be strong, to be able to pick up the pieces that we're leaving and make some sense out of them. So I encourage everyone to continue to pray for the young people, the next generations, um, just going forth. And I heard a mm-hmm. Anyone else want to share about their intermittent fasting time?
Hi everyone. I feel like I would like to make these hours a norm for me, like eating between 12 and 8. Mm-hmm. At first when I tried it, and this was before our week, it was a struggle, but that part is not a struggle anymore. It's what I'm eating. I don't know how I'm supposed to be eating. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to eat junk food, but keeping in mind that I wanted to lose weight, I just can't eat regular. If I'm eating 2 meals a day, I'm not sure what I'm eating. I mean, what I'm doing wrong as far as eating.
Right.
So that's something I'm going to look into.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what we eat going forward, because that old adage, you are what you eat, and it's true, and we have to be very mindful of what we are putting in our body. So, anyone else who was on the fast that wants to share? How did it go for you? All right, I think that's it for right now. Yeah, so you are what you eat. And I made an acrostic poem for that phrase. You are what you eat. Okay, y'all ready for this? Nobody say yes.
Yes.
Y'all ready for this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Your only ultimate approach to right eating with health at the yoke of your unique, essential, aromatic taste. You are what you eat. Okay?
Damn, that was good.
So yes. So what is it that we should be eating? We want to, the older we get, the more important it is that we're getting proper nutrition and that we're taking in the essential vitamins, minerals. A lot of times we take multivitamins, but we still may not be getting certain vitamins that we need. We were taught growing up to eat a certain way, and then as we get older, we find out that what we learned is not the best way for us to eat. So eating that bowl of cereal in the morning is not necessarily the best approach to your day. We have developed habits. We have developed habits that are bad, and we're in a country where you have all these checks and balances, and the without getting real political, but the organizations within the government that are in place to help us to eat healthy approve things that are not healthy for us. So you really have to work hard to figure out what's the best things for you to eat. And I'll tell you, when I was in college, I took a nutrition class, and I always remember that professor saying, when you go in the grocery store, you want to go around the perimeter of the store. That's where you want to do the bulk of your shopping. The things in the middle, you don't want. Processed stuff, canned stuff, things that that you you really don't want to eat, or you shouldn't eat. But around the perimeter, you have your fresh fruits and vegetables. Um, if you're not going to have your fresh vegetables, then buy frozen ones rather than canned. Um, and going around, if you're going to eat meat, then you want to get, the fresh, fresh meat and whatnot. Make sure you're getting fresh rather than frozen, um, and so on and so forth. But now we know that many people, and especially as you get older, a lot of people cannot take dairy. But we have a lot of alternatives now to dairy. You have um, almond milk, and now they have oat milk. So you have alternatives to drinking cow's milk. So yeah. What are some of the things that we eat? What are the good things we eat, and what is not so good? You can't go wrong with an apple. It's like that adage: an apple a day keeps the doctor away. You can't go wrong with an apple. And there are some fruits that they say are essential. They give you so much of the nutrients that you need. Um, so you want to make sure that you're incorporating fresh fruit and vegetables. Now, one thing I notice, whenever I get food on the outside, it's like rice. Rice. If you go to the halal spot, they give you that rice. They fill the tray with rice, and then it gives you a little meat and a little bit of salad, just a little bit. I go in, I say, give me a little bit of rice and give me a lot of salad. It's like they don't understand. It's really like they don't understand. Like, no, sometimes they give me just a little bit of rice, and then they give me just a little bit of chicken because they're scared to put the chicken over the salad. Put the chicken over the salad. It's all going one place. So, but I find that there's a Mediterranean place sometimes we go at lunchtime, my colleagues and I, and again, they pile of rice. They pile of rice. The Spanish place, they pile of rice. You get a pile of rice. So, rice is a grain, and it's okay to eat rice, but you just can't eat rice like that. You just can't, because it's just too much from carbohydrates, too much carbs. So you want to be mindful of that. And so it's a struggle. It's a struggle. But I think one of the best ways to deal with the challenge of what to eat is to prepare several days' meals at one time and have them at your fingertips when you're ready to eat. I think that works wonders. And the less you eat in the street, the better off you are. Because when you're eating food that you don't prepare, you don't know what's in there. Salts. You don't know what kind of oil was used or things were cooked in. And a lot of times places use the cheaper oils, which are not so healthy for you. So you got to be mindful of that. So you need to really, really think about preparing your own food. And I'll tell you, I love, like when we did the Daniel fast, and I would take an onion and a couple of cloves of garlic and some celery and just saute that, and I would throw spinach, fresh spinach in there, beets, and then I would take chicken cutlets that I had just put under the broiler and just cut that up and just throw it all in there. And my little one wok meal, and it was great, and it was filling. So that's a suggestion, and I'd like to hear from you all. What are some ways that you find to incorporate healthy eating?
So,
Mm-hmm.
this is Lori again, and I just came from outside, so I'm sorry if I'm breathing too hard on the phone. I've been having cravings, and during this fast too, it just reminded me of things I need to be eating, which I have been. Just I got distracted. But I've been going to Sam's Club, and I've been getting the sweet potatoes and the red potatoes and a whole bunch of vegetables in the bag and cleaning them off and eating them. That has been satisfying my cravings. And I got some avocado oil spray, and I've been using that in my little $8.99 pot. That has helped. That has helped. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I feel better.
Sometimes I just fix baked potato and baked sweet potato. And I just grab a sweet potato. A sweet potato could be a meal for me. But I particularly love to have it with some sauteed vegetables and a sweet potato. That's really good eating.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Thank you, Carol.
Okay. We're in this love together. So it's all of us. It's all of us. Suggestions and share how we do and when we do and what we do. Now, I know what's going to be a challenge for me. I'm going to, so many of you know, at work, I'm in a training unit for the job, and in a couple of weeks, I'll be going to the unit that I'm going to be working in. And that supervisor, they say, loves to eat. So already, I've gone up to get some work or to turn in some work, and the snack table is just calling me. Just calling me. So that's going to be my next challenge at work, to stay away from that snack table. And I know the day that is my first day in the unit, he's going to bring a cake from this good bakery. So these are the things that I got to be mindful about. Yeah. All right. Who else? Somebody other than me talk.
I think when it comes to food, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and that's what makes it so confusing. I was reading an article by some doctor, and I mean, people just put information out there, and you don't know if it's right or wrong. He says, don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't eat that many eggs. Eggs are good for you. And he wasn't saying the yolk or the white part. He said the whole egg. He says one thing you should never eat is oatmeal. I thought oatmeal was good for you. And he says, no. Has anyone ever heard of that?
Yes. Because oatmeal Yeah, oatmeal is, correct me if I'm wrong, oatmeal has gluten, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so,
and that's not good for you.
right, because the
Okay.
gluten, um, I want to say, encourages inflammation.
Okay.
And eggs, I don't know if you might have been listening to Dr. Wallach, and
It doesn't sound familiar.
right,
What, he
so
says the same thing or no?
yeah, Dr. Wallach like eats a dozen eggs a day or something crazy like that.
Oh my gosh.
And
Mm-hmm.
he's a very slight man, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, he has a product. The product line is called Longevity, and
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, his thing is you got to be mindful to get your right minerals. That we are mineral deficient, most of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
worry about vitamins, but we don't worry about minerals. And there are essential minerals that we need in order to make the vitamins and the other food that we're taking in order for it to work. And
Mm-hmm.
so he has some products that have that are mineral enriched. And he talks about how um, back when before electricity,
Mm-hmm.
before we could just flick a switch, when people had to light a fire, you know, make a fire in the fireplace, and light the kerosene lamps and this, that, and the other. He said when you cleaned up the ash, the ash had the minerals from the trees, from the wood that burnt, and
Mm-hmm.
you got that on your skin, and it penetrated your skin. And so he talks about how our forefathers and mothers they dealt with cleaning up ash. They dealt with digging in the ground, and planting things and whatnot, and just the minerals in the soil, the minerals from the tree limbs, the minerals from the ash. They were all absorbed, and so their bodies were mineral rich. And now we just flick a switch, and
Mm-hmm.
we're not getting the minerals that we need. And that's Dr. Wallach.
Okay. So, Alex.
Yeah, but yeah, he recommends that you eat eggs. And he says uh, you're not gonna get high cholesterol from them.
Mm-hmm.
That's his thing.
Okay.
So,
And no cereals, right?
yeah,
They're too sweet.
the the um, the average cereal. So if you look on the box, and you look at the added sugars,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see that it's a tremendous amount of sugar that's added, and some of them
Okay.
it's like 30 or 40% of the daily amount of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
you think about it, when they give those, you know, the amounts on those little boxes and everything, they're talking about in most cases a cup of cereal.
Oh wow.
Most people eat a bowl of cereal,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you
Mm-hmm.
got to be mindful of what when you look at the label on the box. So what are they calling the serving size? Are they calling a cup a serving size?
Mm-hmm.
Is that an 8-ounce cup?
Yeah.
Because
Big difference between a cup and a bowl, right?
right, and then they'll say a cup, and then they'll say a cup with milk, and they'll give that. So you gotta really look at that and then see. So it'll say so many grams of sugar, but then what is the percentage for the daily intake for that number of grams? You have to stay mindful. And I find the same thing with sodium. Especially if you get canned soup. And I'm gonna tell you, making soup is not a difficult thing to do. You just throw your stuff in the pot, throw that water on there, and let it boil down. Season it to how you want it to be. If you want it red, put a tomato paste in there. If you want it to be a little thicker, cut up a couple of potatoes and put in there, and something starchy to put in there, thicken it up a little bit. Soup, and then take a mason jar and put something in the freezer, so you have it the next time. You can do. I know when I worked at the Montessori school, sometimes when we would have hot lunch for the children, some of the mothers would they would buy rotisserie chickens in the supermarket, and they would cut all the meat off of there and use that and make soup and make hearty soup. And it was delicious, so there's so much you can do. And you got to play around with it, I think it's fun to play around with things and just figure out what works and what doesn't work as things go for you.
I have a question. This is Lori again. What do you guys think about those prepackaged boxes of food? I mean, what do you think? How do you feel about those things? The pre-box, like the pre-salmon fish boxes and the pre-cut meat boxes, and I don't know why they keep advertising it. I know it's somewhat more healthier than the store, so to speak, but it's still, you still got to preserve it. You know what I mean?
I'm really not sure. You mean like it's just meats or it's meals?
Yeah, some of them are meat. Some of them, the meal packets, like Green Chef and Factor and all those things. Those look so good, but at the same time, you got to question where they've been sitting at for how long when you're buying.
Oh, I know what you mean. You mean like Hello Fresh and those kind of prepackaged things where they advertise it, if you want to lose weight, they want you to join, and then they'll have, say, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. I mean, how long has that stuff been sitting,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anyone who does that. I know around here there is a store. It's called Healthy Meals Direct, and these are prepared meals that you can grab on the go. So they're refrigerated or frozen, and I'm gonna equate them to TV dinners, but they're not like TV dinners. Not quite like a TV dinner, but they're prepackaged and ready to go. But it's healthy. It's healthy foods. It's healthy, and and they're prepared so that it's around 350 to 400 calories per meal. So it's really measured out, but they are filling. They are. Okay. They're very tasty and they're filling, and it's called Healthy Meals Direct. I don't know if they ship outside of uh, you know, they serve Long Island, Brooklyn, and Queens. Um, and yeah, and then I noticed in the Mediterranean store, they also have packaged meals like that are frozen. And I saw like a couple of guys come in and buy like 8 or 10 meals. So they bought their meals for the week, you know, and they take them home and then they take them out as it was. The one man, I think he had like, I don't know if he had 8 or 9 meals. It was $80-something. So, yeah, that was, I guess, those were his meals for the week.
No, I never tried. I just want to know if anybody tried it or not. I'm interested in doing that, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know anybody who's tried it. But it's supposed to be fresh. So I imagine, but I don't know, like you're saying, where it's getting shipped from. And, excuse me, maybe it's getting shipped from someplace local. Maybe there are many local entities that, work for the company and ship the food out. Or else they're shipping it overnight. Like if it's coming from California and they're doing overnight, that could be one way that they're handling it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and there's more and more concepts for people not to have to cook, right?
Yeah.
This reminds me of, some on Instagram, someone who was a prior employee of McDonald's says, "Don't think you're getting fresh pancakes when you go there." And he shows a picture of pre-packaged, pre-made pancakes. They're only being heated up. And he was going through the different foods that whatever you think it is, it's not what it is. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, all those fast food places now, they have several microwaves. A lot of that food is just getting zapped.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for fixing your own food. And really, if you can get into a routine, maybe over the weekend to prepare for the next week, then it's so easy. It's just like anything. If you prepare ahead of time, I know now, like the weather is changing, and the other day I started taking things out of the clothes bin, some heavier slacks and whatnot, and I started ironing things, and it's really wonderful when you can just grab what you're going to put on and put it on, and you don't have to iron. So there's a lot to be said for preparation. And it's the same thing with our food. If we prepare ahead of time, then we're less likely to grab the wrong things, because of sometimes we eat some of the junk that we eat because we're grabbing something because we're so hungry and we haven't prepared ahead of time, and now we can't wait to prepare the food, so we grab the junk, so that becomes a problem. So you are what you eat. You are what you eat. If you eat junk, you'll be junky.
Well, I'll say this. I learned how to make some broccoli tacos, and I learned how to make some broccoli pizza, okay, as the crust. So I know what you're talking about. That has changed a lot. So I get what you're saying. That's why I love this group. I love this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's what we're here for, to encourage and inspire one another. So so that it's good to hear you say that. And so because we all have to try new things, and everybody is striving to do a little better. Everybody. We all have something that we want to change or fix in our lives, and so so it's good. And it's wonderful when we can do things together. And I enjoy the last time we did the corporate fast, and this time it's nice knowing that people are doing something with you, and you're not just out there doing it by yourself, and that gives you a little more motivation. Um, so yeah, like days when I looked at the clock and it was still 10 something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a ways to go. But I knew that there were other people, and we were doing this together. So I said, I'm on the wait. I can wait.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else who wants to share? We're talking about we are what we eat and healthy eating. And anything else that might be on your mind?
I wonder if this ever happened to anyone else. When I get up, I'm doing things around the house or whatever, and I'm like looking at the clock. Okay, I got a ways to go till 12. And then if I get involved in something, it could be 1 or 2 o'clock, and I say, "Oh, I didn't eat yet."
Mm-hmm.
Did that ever happen to anyone?
Mhm. Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. It is. So it just goes to
Mm-hmm.
show. Sometimes it's all in our head, right? Because
exactly.
and when you say, "Oh, I can't eat until 12 o'clock," oh boy, I wish it would come. I wish it would come. And then you get involved with something, and then 12 o'clock comes and goes, and you don't even know it. So
no.
because your mind, your thoughts were targeted somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mm-hmm. Okay. So who else would like to share? So did anyone have some like really great recipes and meals they put together? Mm.
Permission to speak?
Sure.
Miss Carol, how you doing? I had to come on and get on mute. Can you just give me a little insight on what the conversation's about?
Oh, we've been today was our day to finish our intermittent fasting. So we were fasting 16 hours a day, and we had an 8-hour window where we ate. And so today that's finished. We did so for 8 days, and we've been talking about how you are what you eat, and our discussion has been about eating right, eating healthy, trying to make better choices for ourselves, um, so that we don't have discomfort and dis-ease.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I eat like I'm supposed to, so I know I can't say anything about that towards that, but I'm hoping that everybody made the fast and everybody's doing well, and maybe they can continue to still eat that way.
Right. This time we didn't have food restrictions, but we were encouraging one another to eat healthy, make healthy choices. But we didn't really have food restrictions like with the Daniel fast.
But you couldn't eat.
Yeah, it was just a period of time that you didn't eat. And intermittent fasting is based on the fact that our gut and our intestines they control a lot of our immune system, and a lot of how we feel comes from our gut. And so our gut needs to have a rest. And if we are eating all day and not mindful to take that rest, give the gut a rest, it's not good. It's not healthy. So we want to be healthy. We want to be healthier, and so therefore we want to give the gut a good period of time for it to, replenish itself.
I know that what I was doing, I guess I was doing sort of kind of the same thing that y'all were doing, not knowing that y'all was even doing that. And when I started, I was 169, 168, and I got down to 159.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really trying to get down to 155. There's nothing wrong with 160 or 159. It's just my goal was 155 so I can start working out. Okay. But I hope everybody it does work. You just got to stay diligent with it. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to everybody who took the challenge on and who made it through. Mm-hmm. And I rest.
Thank you.
Carol, this is Jada.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things I like about this time of year is that it's a good time for making soup.
Yes.
So getting your vegetables together, either steaming the corn and then cutting it off, or just having like corn on the cob in a soup with, if you don't eat if you don't eat meat, tomatoes, celery, experimenting with different herbs. And that's the kind of stuff that freezes well.
Yes.
And so you can make a big pot of it, and if you are so inclined, some cornbread on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And someone earlier had mentioned apples, and just adding that into other meals. For people that have oatmeal, putting fresh apples in your oatmeal, baking them, and adding a little bit of brown sugar, not too much. There's just so many things you can do, and especially if you're in an area where they have, farmers markets or fresh, stands close by. I know on Saturdays here they do it, and so I'm hoping to make it over there this Saturday and stock up on some things.
Mm-hmm. And this is the season for the gourds. You can get your some nice pumpkins and butternut squash and those kind of things. Man, I love some pumpkin. Who knows how to make pumpkin soup? Jada, you make pumpkin soup?
No, I never have. Okay. That's something we'll have to Google.
Yeah, I love.
Wait, or talk to some relative that knows how to do it.
Yeah, it's. I think a lot of West Indians. That's a soup that they make, and yes, I had it at a wedding one time, at wedding reception, and yeah, it was a Caribbean caterer, and they served the pumpkin soup right out of the jack-o'-lantern. And man, oh man, that soup! I had never had pumpkin soup before, and I had curled up my face. Pumpkin soup. Man, that soup was so good. I tried to make it one time, but nope, I didn't hit the mark. Yeah. But I look forward to, yeah, like you're saying, some butternut squash and things. This is a wonderful time for those, this is the time for all that harvest. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Mm. Some healthy eating ideas.
Miss Carol?
Uh-huh.
Miss Carol?
Yes, yes, Miss
Okay.
Oda.
Okay. So I did have pumpkin soup. I said the same thing that you said, but when I tasted, oh, so delicious.
Mm-hmm.
But I did frown my face and I said, ew. But no, it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
It really is.
And that teaches us to try new things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have to try new things. Yes. So, any other healthy eating ideas? All right. So, we officially have ended our corporate fast, and if anyone wants to take the challenge and keep going, I encourage you to do so. I'm probably going to keep it up. I'm not going to be so stringent about the time because a lot of times, just like my schedule with the way things are moving and doing, but I am going to be very diligent about having a good period of fasting, a good period where I give my gut a rest. So, and I think I did a little better with water this time. How'd everybody do with drinking your water?
Miss Carol, I love water. That's what I drink all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Much better. Much better.
I did better with drinking my water, and so yeah, I'm happy. And I was at Family and Friends Day. I was very tempted to have a can of soda, but I did not do it. But I was tempted. Um, yeah, but I took the bottle of water, and I made the good choice. Mm-hmm. All right, who else? Who else wants to share? I'm going to share my poem again. I don't know if anybody wanted to take this was this was a task. Okay, you are what you eat. Your only ultimate approach to right eating with health at the yolk of your unique, essential, aromatic taste. It's a little bit silly, but nonetheless, you are what you eat. So make sure you're eating good things, because you're good if your food is good. And now let's have true confessions too. How did we do with the junk? Did we eat a lot of junk? Were we grabbing junk food or snacky stuff at noon while we tried to figure out what we were going to eat? Did we grab snacky stuff at 7:30 because we knew it was going to be time to shut down? How did we do? How did we do?
A little.
Well, I did have a couple of scoops of ice cream after dinner a couple of nights.
And that's okay.
But it was before 8 o'clock.
Right. That's all right.
Does cooking, well, this is Lori again, does cooking videos count as cheating?
Cooking videos?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a food fetish that I haven't been able to give up since I was a child. And so when I got stressed or something, I would grab to that. But since the fast, and I've been fasting other times too, but it was like I'm not eating the food, I'm just looking at the food. You know?
Oh, so you are so you watch the foodie channel.
Yeah.
And you drool over, but you're not eating. You're not eating it. You're just watching it on TV.
Yeah, it was the artichoke pizza that got me.
Lord, you're funny. You're funny. Now wait a minute. When you watch those things, did it cause your stomach to growl?
It made it feel real good watching it. And let's just say in the world, okay, it would say you would need a cigarette watching it. I was like, how could I have done it? And I said, no, you got to go through it. Like I've been in therapy, you got to go through it. So that was the thing that I felt really guilty of. Then I stopped feeling guilty. I said, look, what can I do? And then I realized how much work I had to do. Don't eat it.
It seems to me like watching the foodie channel would make it more difficult because you're looking at stuff and it makes you want to eat. So I would think that would make it more difficult.
Well, it made me crave food. But when I went to the refrigerator to get something to eat, I grabbed the apples. I mean, I went through them bags of apples, man. And apples and the cutie oranges, I just kept eating them. So it must have been something that I needed to see to change up on whatever else I need to include in my diet. So I've never had artichokes before alone. So now I have the confidence of preparing an artichoke.
Okay, good. Well, I'll tell you, sometimes when we crave something, it's because we need some of those vitamins and minerals that are in that item.
Yeah, so. I mean, who would think artichokes? I never thought about an artichoke, It's the last thing on my list. Right, but I'm encouraged by it.
Good. So, anyone else? I'm going to, if I may, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I want to play a song for you, and then I want to tell you a little about, I'm going to share a little bit about my, an experience I had this weekend. So, first I'm going to share a song. I got, on Grace Space, which is the podcast before the Pink Sofa from 6 to 7, I heard some Gil Scott, and I had to get some Gil Scott, and I said, what can I play? And I saw the right song, and I just, let's see. Give me a second here.
Feel kind of down and out, you don't know just what to do. Living all of your days in darkness, let the sun shine through. Ever feel that somehow, somewhere you lost your way? And if you don't get a help quick, you won't make it through the day. Or could you call on Lady Day? Could you call on John Coltrane? Now, 'cause they'll wash your troubles away. Plastic people with plastic minds are on their way to plastic homes. No beginning, there ain't no ending, just on and on and on and on and on. It's all because they're so afraid to say that they're alone. Until our hero rising on his saxophone. Or could you call on Lady Day? Could you call on John Coltrane? Now, 'cause they'll wash your troubles away. Ever feel kind of down and out and don't know just what to do? Living all of your days in darkness, let the sun shine through. Ever feel that somehow, somewhere you lost your way? And if you don't get a help quick, you won't make it through the day. Or could you call on Lady Day? Could you call on John Coltrane now? 'Cause they'll wash your troubles away. They'll wash your troubles away. They'll wash your troubles away. Your troubles away. Yeah, they'll wash your troubles away.
Yes, they'll wash your troubles away. Yes, so I chose that song because this past weekend was the celebration of John Coltrane's birthday, and we had an event involved with saving the Coltrane home here on Long Island. We had an event, and there was a rapper who was the highlight. Rakim is his name, and I shared this on the prayer call the other morning. So I don't know. I don't listen to hip-hop music. I know who Rakim was. And so as it turned out, I was getting ready to go, and I told my oldest son, he asked where I was going. I said, I'm volunteering at the Coltrane event. I said somebody named Rakim or Rahim or something. And my son said, Rakim? I said, yeah, I think that's it. He was like, Ma, that's one of the rappers. Da, 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 da. Why did you say something? I said, I don't know who it is. I'm just, I'm just going to be an usher. So anyway, as it was a great event. He did a question and answer, and very humble. He's a very humble man, and he spoke very nicely. And I understand he doesn't use any profanity in his music. I did listen to a little bit of his music, as I promised him I was going to put him in my Pandora. So, that's not usually my genre. I told him, I said, I got 2 stations, jazz and gospel. Jazz and gospel, gospel and jazz. That's it. And so he laughed, and he was, he was really, really nice guy. So I got a T-shirt.
I said he gonna spend the night.
And I didn't ask the sister her name. I should have asked the sister her name.
That background noise, you gotta.
Talking about ice cream.
Okay. So yeah, that was my highlight. And so I was happy to play that Gil Scott-Heron song because it spoke, talked about John Coltrane, and it's funny, you think about a jazz artist such as Coltrane, and you don't realize the influence he had on so many other artists that are not in the jazz genre. And so Rakim, when he was growing up here on Long Island in Wyandanch, which is next, right near Dix Hills, where Coltrane's home was, and Rakim played the saxophone coming up, in the school band and everything. And so, you never know how intricate the weaving of our lives. You never know how intricate it is, and it will be, and how interconnected we all are with one another. And one thing I realized for myself, I have to be open to new things. I have to be open to new things. So now I got to put a little hip hop in my music selection, as long as there's no profanity, because I draw the line there. So it's all good. So anything else anybody would like to share? I will take this time to do a little housekeeping for the Grown Folk Talking Progressive Podcast Network. Tomorrow we have Francesca with No Longer Silent, a podcast that focuses on successfully overcoming abusive situations and domestic violence. We have at 8 p.m. John Monroe with Vision Care. He deals with all types of issues with eyes and sightedness. And then at 9:30 tomorrow evening, we have Brothers Hamp and Everett, the Concerned Citizens Coalition down in Louisiana. And they have a variety of topics, usually around community or relationships. So that's the lineup for tomorrow. And you can always dial in the 520 number and listen to the itinerary. We are also on YouTube. We have a YouTube page under Grown Folk Talking, Express Yourself, and you can check out some of the podcasts there and see some different shows that you might be interested in tuning into. So there you have that. And what else? Anything else on your mind? Now, for those of us who have been doing that intermittent fasting, I think we had a great successful run, and maybe we'll consider doing it again. We are officially finished that the corporate fast, and as I said, if you're going to continue it, I wish you great success. I'm going to be more mindful to have that good period of fasting. But always, let's work on making the most healthy choice of the foods we eat, because longevity, if longevity is what you seek, then you want to take good care of this body, because we only get the one body, even though technology and medicine are redoing, hips and knees and shoulders and transplanting hearts and kidneys and livers. But, yeah, you really only get one body. That's it. So take good care of it and be mindful of what you're putting into it, because you are what you eat. Literally, you are what you eat. So, anything anyone wants to share? It's open. The floor is open. How was your day?
Pretty good.
Thank you.
I did not go to my support group today. I decided to stay in my apartment and have my own time to myself and cut everything else out, and that was really good for me.
Good. It's nice to have that, right? You just have the quiet time in your space.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you so much. And you know what else I gave a try, Miss Carol, that I haven't did that? It was just the first time. I did go to a farmer's market a couple of weeks back, and I had got some pomegranate, and I actually dropped a few of them in a pitcher of water, and so delicious, Miss Carol.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And did it turn red?
That I don't know. I just know that I drunk it, Miss Carol.
Okay. All right.
I pay attention to the color. It was just good.
I asked that question, and as I was asking it, I was like, "Oh no! Would she be able to detect that?"
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It was just good to me.
Okay.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? What's new and exciting in your lives? Nothing? Everybody's living a dull, humdrum life? Except for Latoya. Oh my gosh. Well,
Permission to speak.
sure.
I don't know if this is my device that I'm on, but it just seems to keep getting lower sometimes. Can you say something, Ms. Carl?
Hello?
Okay, yeah, it's just going in and out, I think. Did I hear you ask, does anybody have anything they want to talk about or share?
Yes.
What I want to know is how many people on this line keeps up with the news? Anybody keep up with the news on the line? Anybody? So nobody watches the news. Okay.
I try to keep up with it. I won't say I know everything, but and a lot of stuff is mess. But
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I listen to it.
Thank you. Let me ask you a question. Whoever that was that spoke out, and anybody else who didn't chime in to say whether they do or whether they don't. One of the main important factors that we should watch the news, even if it's a mess or not, so we can keep up with what's going on in the world. Did you hear about the story of them getting 1 ton of fentanyl from a daycare center? It killed kids. It killed one of them, and the other 3 kids, they had to rush out of there.
Yes, I heard about that.
The guy, they didn't get the guy. They still looking for him, but the lady and her sister, they held them, and the lady said she didn't know what he was doing, and these people actually put the fentanyl underneath of the kids' mats that they laid on. Now, anybody who knows fentanyl, you don't have to touch it. If you just smell it, it can take you out of here. And so we just have to be very mindful of the stuff that goes on. Like I said, we get tired of watching news and seeing all the despair, but you should always know what's going on in the world and definitely in your area. So I just wanted to bring that story up. Very, very horrific story. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
Pray for the other 3 kids that they are right, or they're going to be okay.
I heard of a similar story like that before, and it took place in Atlanta, and somebody was in an Airbnb and laid their baby on the bed to take a nap. And then before they knew it, the baby was unresponsive. They rushed him to the hospital, and he passed. And whoever rented out the apartment before that, they had that mess on the bed. And so I guess things weren't washed, or I don't know how that works, but yeah. So the baby was like laying on it. And you know, if it's a powder, you can't really see it.
Right.
Yeah, it's not
terrible.
Good. It's not good. It's not good. So we have to be mindful. No matter what we do, we just have to be mindful when we go places and doing things.
Yeah. Speaking of the news, one thing I learned today that I never heard of before, they keep talking about, the deadline, there's 4 more days before they come to an agreement, and if they don't, it's going to shut down, things are going to shut down. Well, I just read something where Schumer is proposing that they do something else, and I don't have the particulars on it, that would take them till November 17th to make a decision, so they don't have to shut down anything. So I thought that was pretty good, because it's going to be a hot mess if they have to shut things down for people that rely on a lot of services, plus people's paychecks.
Right. Right.
So.
But you keep seeing that the post office is hiring, the Veteran Administration is hiring, and this, that, and the other. But yet they're talking about shutting down, like, the government, the federal agencies. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
I know.
Because on one hand they're saying they need employees, and on the other hand they're saying they don't have the funds to carry out paying so many people.
Yeah, but you know what? There are some things like federal jobs that they will stop. They won't get a paycheck, but they're still expected to come to work.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? You got to keep tabs on how much they owe you.
Yeah. I know one time when I worked for the foster care agency in Brooklyn, so the agency was a voluntary agency, and the money came from the city to run the agency. And then the city was having a shutdown or a breakdown, or however that went, and we were getting paid late. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And the best thing I could say was I had direct deposit, so when the agency did get money, the people who had direct deposit, they got paid first, because when the money hit the bank, the direct deposits went out. And the people who took paper checks, then they had to wait for the controller to make sure there was enough left. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, we have reached the 9 o'clock hour. Is there anything else anyone like to share? Well, I certainly thank you all for coming out on the Pink Sofa Talk this evening. And I have enjoyed this evening with you, and I hope you've enjoyed this evening on the Pink Sofa. And so I look forward to seeing you next week, when it will be October. And next week will be ladies only. But, yeah, it's all good. Looking forward. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. And with that, I will give us a little music to part. And I hope you enjoy a wonderfully safe evening. And remember, we are all in this love together.
Love to see every time we hear the music and feel this love together. We got to find that forever. We're in this love together, like berries on the vine. It gets sweeter all the time. It's like a rainy night and candlelight. And ooh, it's so romantic. We got the whole thing working out so right. And it's just the way we planned it. We got the kind that lasts forever.
Not on the rights to this music. Sure do enjoy.
We're in this love together. And like berries on the vine, get sweeter all the time. We got the kind that lasts forever. We're in this love together. We got a kind that will last forever. We're in this love together. We got the kind that will last forever. We're gonna find that love that's open up the door. Hey, hey, don't you know? We're in this love together. We got the kind that brings to mind a favorite song.
Oh, yes. We are in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. Thank you for coming out on the Pink Sofa Talk this evening, where love is the message. And I hope you enjoyed yourself, because I certainly enjoyed having you on the Pink Sofa. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you ladies next week. So long, y'all.
Have a good night.
Good night.